So today we have a question that nobody knew the answer to till now. And that question is modern Sonic and classic Sonic the same Sonic? Classic being the Sonic from Sonic Superstars, Mania, etc., and modern being the one from Sonic Colors, Unleashed, and even Frontiers. So of course, point all your friends, family, and strangers you might have had this discussion with to this video. We are going to find out the truth. It may not be about a more important question like where does Sonic pull the Chaos Emeralds from, but we're still for sure going to find out the truth. It's 1991, and of course the first version of Sonic we see is classic, obviously. And it's important to know that this is obviously in Sonic's early days, when he's younger. At least that's what some fans think, and this, believe it or not, is actually debatable. Classic is argued to be older and sometimes the same age as modern Sonic, or just massively younger, like we're talking about 13, 14 years old. If you don't believe me, look, Sega's made it pretty confusing on their character profiles. In Sonic 3, released in 1994, it said, when translated, that he's in between the ages of 15 and 16. Then in Sonic Jam, which is a mashup of all three of the classic games, including 1, 2, and 3, which is released in 1997, it says that he's 16. Then in Sonic Adventure Remastered in 2003, it says that he's 15 years old, and keep in mind, this is the first time we ever get to see modern Sonic. So with this information for sure, we can definitely say that he's at least and no younger than 15 years old. There's definitely more information in books about Sonic and his age, but they all say that he's at least 15 years old, and that's the minimum. Now, Sonic has only gotten 1 year older since his classic days, with his 16th birthday happening in Sonic Generations, as we can see in the first intro of the game. Sonic Racing, which off the record, I always hated because it's so weird seeing Sonic characters driving when they're already fast on their feet. When you go to his character profile, it says that he's a younger Sonic from Sonic Classic days. TalesTube even confirmed this with him saying that classic Sonic is from the past and modern Sonic is from the now. So to quote unquote somewhat answer the question, yes, our Sonic, classic Sonic, are both the same Sonic, just classic is from the past. All you Sonic Frontier fans should know this as well, because Knuckles in the game, when he gets nostalgic after seeing some runes, it reminds him of Sonic 3 and when he met Sonic and Tails. Even the game shows them in their classic days. That's just one of the reasons why classic Sonic is modern Sonic and modern Sonic is classic Sonic. Similar to how Mario characters acknowledge that they were once 2D, 8-bit characters and now are 3D, it's the same thing in Sonic's games. It's like the companies took the revolution of the gaming industry, which was the games going from 2D to 3D animation, incorporated it into the lore in some weird way. Now hold on, the reason why I said earlier quote unquote someone answer the question is because after Sonic Generations, a lot of fans believe that the timeline split. Okay, so basically, let me tell you why people are basically so confused, okay? So basically, classic Sonic grew up and became modern Sonic, right? We all know that. He grew up, became modern Sonic, he's older now, he's like 1 year older, okay? Everything that classic Sonic experienced, that would mean modern Sonic experienced, okay? The timeline has to split because at some point, because classic Sonic from the past comes and meets modern Sonic, which modern Sonic experienced in the past, which obviously has to mean there's a timeline split because classic Sonic went down a different route, a different path than modern Sonic. You see what I'm saying? And this all happened in Sonic Generations, obviously because Eggman messed with the past, and when you mess with the past, obviously you change the future. But this didn't happen. So recently, Ian Flynn, who's a head author and writer at the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise on a lot of projects, was recently asked, did Sonic Generations create a split in the timeline? And basically he told us no. He just looks at it as there's just classic and modern, and don't think too hard about it. Now, me personally, when I heard this, I was kind of disappointed because Sega has a history of just not addressing inconsistencies and plot holes when it comes to the Sonic the Hedgehog lore. And just to save them time, they just flat out tweet out and say everything is canon, and it just doesn't make any sense. Now, I'm not mad at Ian Flynn. He's just taking what Sega gives him and working with it. Slandering him as all people's been doing for the past months on Twitter, even though he writes the IDW comics and he's goated. I just don't want to participate in that, and that's not my intentions when I bring him up. So there you go. Classic is not older than modern Sonic. He's at least 1 year younger. after Sonic Generations, there was no timeline split. Sonic is not in another dimension. He just goes back in time to his own time. Whenever Classic Sonic pulls up in Sonic Forces and Generations, he goes right back to his time. He doesn't go right back to his other dimension. It's just he goes back in time. It's weird, but Sega. And just to let y'all know, I do own the #1 Sonic Discord server. You guys can join up and have fun, pick your characters, do whatever you want. Even ask me questions about Sonic and I'll do a video on it, or just respond right away in main chat. But yeah, finally, just to clarify, I'm not saying that modern Sonic and classic Sonic are like the same person. Like, no, obviously classic Sonic is from the past. That is younger Sonic in those days, you know what I mean? But all I'm saying is that there were classic days and Superstars shows it the best. Sonic Superstars shows it the best. Basically, he's running as classic one day, and then out of nowhere he turns modern, and then he just keeps on pushing. Everyone keeps on pushing it in the Sonicverse. That's basically what happens. And then when Sonic turns modern, he meets Shadow the Hedgehog, you know, and all those other people. And yeah, the only friends that he knew in his classic days were Knuckles, Tails, and Amy. That's really, and then Eggman. Eggman wasn't a friend, but still. Anyone else that showed up in his classic days that were his friends that I'm leaving out, you get what I'm saying. Like, he doesn't meet a lot of people until the modern days, and yeah, once there was this classic 8-bits, and then out of nowhere, whole reality check just happened, and they turned modern. There was no timeline split when Sonic Generations happened or Forces. Classic Sonic just went back to his time and just lived his life. Love you guys, thanks for watching, and peace.